Hello and welcome to this tutorial with me, Lindsay of Wild Sea Calligraphy, alongside Manuscript Pen Company. This could be a beginner's video. You might just want to practice a little bit of italic calligraphy. There's some great other videos on italic calligraphy on this YouTube channel, so I would recommend taking a look at them. But it's certainly not going to be very difficult. We're going to make it really easy for beginners as well. And all I'm using is some lovely navy blue handmade paper. It works fantastic with the Italic Calligraphy Manuscript pens. This is a gold and you can see it's got a slight edge. It's a broad edge script that we're going to be doing today. So it's entirely up to you whether you want to mock it up first or you can play around. I certainly practiced writing this a few times. I find the best paper to practice any kind of calligraphy on is actually the manuscript paper. So there's a paper pad that Manuscript do, and this is great so you can practice sort of your positioning, how where you want it to go, how sort of flourished you want it, all the little elements that you can put around the edge as well. Whether you want to combine lots of different metallic inks, so you see here I've used silver and gold, and there's some different colours there and different pen sizes. The size of this nib is a medium, which you can see there, and they do a bold, extra bold and a fine. So this is more of the fine, this is the bold, and you can see here this is the medium. What I would say, however, obviously any handmade paper is slightly more textured, so it will create a little bit of resistance on there, and sometimes it can be difficult to write on. So always buy a little bit more paper and just practice on any scraps that you have, just so you get used to how the pen will flow on the paper. Obviously this paper is a lot smoother and it's very, very easy to write on, which is why I think for a beginner it's perfect. In this project I haven't actually rolled up any guidelines for it, but feel free if you need to. You can also use, because we're using a writing on a darker paper, a white mechanical pencil, and you can just see if I just turn this over, you can see you can just mark it out quite nicely. Don't put too much pressure on it because you want to erase it later on, but that works really well. So maybe we can try that. Let's move all the bits and bobs out of the way. Pop that to the side. So we're just doing some basic italic, which is a beautiful script, very gentle. If you're learning calligraphy and you're new to calligraphy, it's a nice one to get started with. And also if you want to get better at your copperplate calligraphy, that's copperplate calligraphy. If you practice this, then it'll help with your copperplate as well. So you can start off with your H being, a normal H if you wanted to. Bring it down. And it's almost this shape. And your A is this shape. And down and out. Then just coming around like this. You could also just leave your P straight down, and similarly with H you could keep it like that, or you can bring it over, which is quite nice. And just be mindful that you want this to come out a little bit further. You don't want it to get chopped off when you're writing. And then we've got our lovely Y, so this shape here, down, up, and then down for the Y coming through. Okay, so that's pretty centralized. And then we're going to start with the birthday, go a bit further over than what you think to on the left. Going to come down. We want to leave a nice gap at the bottom for our descender of the Y. Okay, cut through some of these descenders. Bring that out a bit more. Come through there. And you see the A, the bottom of the D here and the A here is very similar. Y coming through. Simple as that. And now we're going to get our pen. You can see here you've got your broad edge, so we're not going to write directly over the top. We want it at an angle, so roughly 5 to 10 degrees. So imagine if we're going, we've got the shade, the thick part coming across here, then it goes thin and then thick again. So demonstrate here. So we go up and keep in that position, down, and you have to apply any pressure, Just stick with the pressure you've got. Sometimes when you do the hairline, you can kind of move the pen around just to touch the edge of the nib to create that down and then out around. You don't want it too pointy or sort of the edges to be too sharp, so try to bend that around rather go up, down like this and create a slight curve. So let's get started. So you can just start here like this. You can see the angle of my pen paper. So this angle, and then we're going to go down, and then just up a little over the top, and then pressure, or no pressure, over this way. Just curving the edge a little bit, and then down and around. And the beauty with these is if you're doing it in one fluid motion, the nib doesn't catch in the paper. You can go back over here and bring this over like that. Let's do birthday. And obviously, big man's birthday recently, David Attenborough turned 100. So down, up, down, sort of release the pressure a little bit as you're going up, and down and around. Lovely. And a little flick just here. So we can just cut through on the edge there. You can bring this up a little bit more to here. Make any adjustments that you need to do. I'm pretty happy with that. And then just using the edge of the pen, you can just do a series of different sized dots, or you can do some stars or illustrate it any way that you like. I like to do one slightly larger, and then medium, and then small, maybe a couple of little dots. Some bigger than what you'd think you'd need. You want to sort of have a nice little illustration on there. Let's look, put some in here. Lovely. And then you can wait for it to dry and erase any of the mechanical pencil that's already there. Like I said, when you are writing this out with your pencil to begin with, you can just make sure that you're not pushing too hard, so when you erase it, it's not showing up. And you're not fraying the paper. And you can just see there, really simple happy birthday card. Beautiful gold Callicreative Italic pen for Manuscript. I hope you enjoyed this little workshop. Please feel free to like, comment and subscribe. Take a look through all of the other tutorials. There are plenty on this channel. Hope to see you soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.